Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have a full face of Flower Beauty. I don't want to really call it a tutorial because I don't have anything planned out. I just have all the products out in front of me and we'll see what I come up with. But yeah, if you're interested to see how this turns out, just keep watching. Alright, so for my eyes I have 3 products. I chose one of these little palettes that they sell. This is the New York City Midnight Manhattan palette. Of course, my dog chooses now to play with his squeaky toy. Max, do I have to take that away from you? You good? We'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. I will be using the Wanderlust eyeshadow palette, and this one is the New York City Midnight Manhattan. And this is out of the 3 Wanderlust palettes, this is the color combo that spoke to me the most. And then I also have 2 Warrior glitter shadows in the shade Camo and Bomb. So I don't know if I'll be using these, but I feel like they could go with whatever look I come up with from the palette, so we'll see. And I don't have a eyeshadow primer from the brand, and I don't even know if they make one. They make face primers, but I just don't recall an eye primer, so I'm just going to be using this Wet n Wild one since it's still drugstore. I'm going to speed through the eye look and listen to a true podcast. I'm going to speed through the eye look and listen to a true crime podcast while I do it, and then I'll come back and talk through everything else. And in case you're wondering, I'm listening to Crime Junkie. Highly recommend it. Okay, so I actually did almost an entire eye look and hated how it turned out, especially after I put this liquid liner in. Everything I'm using today is not, some of it is new to me. The eyeshadow palette is new. While I've had these glitters for a while, this is the first time I'm using them. This liquid liner is new, and I'll mention the others later on. And this is actually in the color Espresso, so it's like a dark brown. I do not like this. It's a really long felt tip, and it was just hard to work with, and it does not go over eyeshadow well. I had to keep dipping in. Not a fan. So that one, this one will be going back. I'm also not a fan of this eyeshadow palette, which I hate because I love this brand so much. But I have tried their like longer palettes before. I tried one of them. Wasn't a big fan. This is not a formula for me. Both this like olive green and purple come out way darker than what they appear in the pan. The only one that I somewhat like would be this matte brown, which blends decently. This black that has like a purplish gold glitter in it, but it's basically a matte black. And then this one, which actually looks a little more like it has some green in it, but it just, let's see if it comes off on camera, it looks even deeper. It's a deeper gold once you put it on. So I used pretty much all these in the first look. I may insert the clip, I don't know. But I ended up going with the matte brown in the crease, this black in the outer corner, and then on top of that I put Camo in the outer corner and Bomb in the inner corner. I actually do like these. They aren't as good as like the Wet n Wild glitter shadows or the Stila, but I do really like them. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. Ugh, I got shadow all over me because I was watching someone's video about this product, and they said kind of like the problem I had with the liquid liner was that once product gets on top, it's hard to use. So I don't want to have any foundation in the way. I'm looking for a spoolie. Okay, so I'm not using anything else on my brows except this. And I have glitter literally all over my face from that palette, probably some of the actual liquid glitters as well. Okay, so this is the Brow Vixen Tattoo Effect Stain in Auburn. And not everyone knows how to do Auburn, so we'll see how this turns out. And I haven't used like a brow marker in a hot minute, so this may turn out really bad. Okay, so once the marker dries, it does get a little darker. So the color is not as terrible as I thought it might be. But this might be something that's better used in conjunction with like a pencil or a powder or something. So I'm not sold on it just yet, but I do want to give it some more testing before I give a final opinion. Like, I'm definitely writing off this liquid liner, but that one I want to give more of a chance. Alright, so now on to face. This is the Flower Beauty. Why do I keep saying that? It's a one brand. We get it. Okay, anyway. This is the Supernova Celestial Skin Elixir, which I've had my eye on since it came out. And it's like always out of stock at Ulta. So, I finally have it. That didn't come up with a lot. So this is a primer, there we go, and it's supposed to be like a luminous primer. It looks like there's glitter in it, but I've heard nothing but good things about this, but I've heard that doesn't show up on the skin. So I'm just, and it is like an oil, so it does feel like an oil going on. So it has a nice kind of fresh scent. I don't know how to describe it. It's pleasant though. So I'm just gonna put that all over. And this is my first time using this one, but I have high hopes because it has great reviews. So, and I do have dry skin, so I do like putting an oil or something like that underneath my foundation or mixing it within, whatever. Although the foundation I'm going to use is very luminous, so doesn't necessarily need that added boost, but we'll see. So it feels nice, and it's like sinking into the skin really quickly. Like I don't feel like I have this layer of grease on my face. Okay, yeah, that I don't know if you can tell, but it does have a nice glow to it, and it doesn't look greasy to me. I feel like it looks a little better in person. Yeah, I like this. We'll see how it affects the foundation, but it feels really nice. Okay, so I until recently, I've been using the shade L1 Porcelain, and that's literally the lightest shade you can get at Ulta. But I was looking at the Flower Beauty section of Walmart recently, and I didn't need more of the foundation, but I looked anyway, and lo and behold, there's an L0, what's it called, shell, an L0, so there is a lighter shade, which I needed. This one I feel like might be a little more yellow than the Porcelain. I don't have the other one in front of me to say for certain, but it's definitely, L1 has been too dark, but I love this foundation so much that I didn't care. But I'm so happy that there is a lighter shade, and I still haven't figured out if it's the right tone and all, but I don't care. Like, I've been using the wrong shade for like a year in this foundation, so it's closer, that's all that matters. So I kind of switch between a brush and a sponge when I apply it, and I just haven't wet my sponge, so I'm gonna go with a brush. In case you're wondering, this is the Love is the Foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. Yes, I bought it for the packaging, but it is actually a really good brush. So I am going to, what I found best is to kind of spread the foundation out starting from the center and not blending it in necessarily, but just spreading it out. That way I'm not using too much, because I feel like you can use too much of it and then it looks like there's foundation on you. You're also not wasting as much product. And I just go in with kind of a patting motion, not the buffing in, because that has never worked for me with makeup brushes and applying foundation. Yeah, this color looks so much better. I look kind of ghostly on camera, but this does tend to oxidize, so I think it should be good. I've only used the shade one other time. I don't have any complaints from it. I don't remember it looking bad. I just know it is definitely a better color match. And like, even though I have a bunch of breakouts right now, I don't like full coverage. I do like a more medium coverage, because I don't like how you can tell there's a lot of foundation on your face. And I've always been like that. Even like before I got into makeup, like I could not stand the cakey look. And now that I am into it and I'm a little more educated on the types out there and what works best for my skin, I know for sure that's not something I like. Alright, this is my down the neck blending method, but that's about as much as I do for that. So you can see it's very luminous. It's so weird getting used to how it looks on camera versus in person. And I could go in with a little more, but I'm not going to, because that's what I'm going to use the concealer for. And honestly, as long as I'm reducing the redness around my breakouts, I don't try to hide them too much, because for me it always makes it look worse and brings more attention to it. So this is their Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer in the shade L12 Fair. This is the lightest one, both at Walmart and Flower Beauty and Ulta. It is dark, and it's a little darker than the rest of my face, but what I like doing with it, and it's also a luminous kind of medium coverage concealer. Actually, the tone is more pink, so I think that's why it works well for me. So I put it everywhere I would normally put a concealer, like right there, maybe right there. And then, like I said, this is a luminous concealer, and then I go in with a matte concealer. So this is not Flower Beauty. This is the Catrice Liquid Camo. Where's the shade? Oh, 010 Porcelain. And I love, this is a lot lighter than the Flower concealer. I love how this dewy why can't I speak? This, like the dewy and the matte formulas blend so well together, and it just gives you a natural finish. I really like it. And this, actually, all the brushes aren't, this is honestly the only Flower Beauty brush I have, but I got it recently and I have fallen in love with it. And of course, it doesn't say on here, but it is their concealer brush. And this I think you can only get at Walmart. And I've usually been a sponge girl when it comes to concealers, but I use this and I've been converted at least to this because it blends so well. And I think it's because, let me put the mirror down, it has this slant to it. It's a little bit duo fiber. It's not too dense, but dense enough. It's not a great description, but if you're looking for a good concealer brush, I recommend using it or trying it out. Alright, so I kind of just do the same thing I did with the foundation and just pat it in. I do swipe directly underneath the eye just to get there. And I always have that darkness right in the inner corner, so I want to make sure I cover that, but it just looks so nice. I do have to set this. Even though I'm mixing it with a concealer that is more matte, I do have to set it. See, like that blends out the concealer, and unlike a sponge, it doesn't take away the coverage of the product, especially on my nose. Oh my god, I have some hyperpigmentation on my nose and cheeks, and I feel like it's not peeking through, and it usually always does on my nose, so definitely love this brush. I need to try some of their other ones, but I'm trying not to buy makeup brushes, period, because I have so many. Okay. So I am going to take the Miracle Glow Satin Finishing Powder. I think anyone who has reviewed their powders comments on the awful packaging. It is way too bulky. I'm not a fan. So you have this ginormous lid, and then the powder itself is only in that spot. So, and then it comes with the powder puff, which I don't really use because I only set my under eyes. I feel like if I were setting the rest of my face, that would be nice. So I just tap some in, probably tap too much. This is translucent, but if I use too dense of a brush, it kind of has some color on it, and unfortunately it's a little dark, so I like to use, if I can find it, like a duo fiber brush. I also like this kind of brush for highlighter, but I'm using this for the under eye, so whew. So I just want to make sure I tap out any creasing before I go in. And I like that, I feel like to a degree it mattifies, because I mean it is a powder, but it doesn't take away the luminosity that much. And then whatever is left on the brush, I just tap on my nose, because that's where foundation and concealer like to rub away the quickest. Alright, so I clearly poured too much, so I'll just tap that back in best I can. And I do like the puff, kind of keeps it sealed, so there's that. Alright. Now I typically go in with a bronzer, and I love that they recently came out with like a single bronzer, because the only other way before was in their blush and highlight palette, and I find this one to be a little too orange. And this one is the Heatwave Luminous Bronzer in Sunrise L1. So I guess it's the lighter one, but it's a little more cool toned. L2, the next one up, does have kind of that orangey tint. So I've been taking a big powder brush, and this one's the Real Techniques powder brush, and using that to apply my bronzer. Should not use the viewfinder for my mirror. And then starting up here, I sometimes take it too low. Ooh, that is really picking up on camera. Okay. I sometimes take it too low. I've been trying to get better at that. Same with my blush. Because I have the apples right here, but like when I smile, like they're right next to my nose. So I don't ever want to put my bronzer or my blush that close. But then when I'm just like normal face, it comes down. So I've been experimenting with that. We'll see. But I really do like this bronzer. It looks a little oranger on camera, I can tell you that. But in person, it's a little more cool toned. But it does bring life to my face. That's for sure. So. Alright. Yeah, wow. The difference between reality and how the camera shows it is mind-boggling. Never realized that until now, honestly, when I'm filming my own videos. Took a little coverage from my little breakout there, but otherwise, other than that, it's not picking up any of my foundation or anything. And it does have, it's not so matte. I don't know how to describe it, but I've been really enjoying this. I do wish there were more colors and I could probably benefit from a lighter color, but I make this one work. I like it. And then take what's left and just put it on my neck. So I don't contour, I guess I bronzer, whatever you want to call it. So that's all for the bronzer. Okay, and then I had one of their blush bombs, but this is in Nectar and it's a little too orange for what I'm going for, so I'm going to use the blush from the Lift and Sculpt contouring palette. I know that it comes in 2 shades. This one's light to medium. So this is more of a cool tone, a cool toned blue, and then this is like a typical gold, white gold champagne highlight, which I'm also going to be using. So I'm gonna actually, let me go on with my highlight first. So I'm gonna put that kind of a little intensely and then blend that out. Oh wow, now that looks nice on camera. Blend it out with the blush. And I am gonna add this highlight to my inner corner because I didn't like the light shade in the eyeshadow palette. It was just too pink and I didn't feel like it would go. Sorry, I am using the viewfinder for this case. Alright, so I'm taking my blush brush. This does kick up some powder, but that doesn't bother me. Now this, I haven't used in a while, so I'm pretty sure it's very pigmented. So I just did one dab. Let's see. Maybe not as much as I thought. Sorry, it's getting later in the day. I am losing a bit of sunlight, so I'm trying to hurry up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you don't need much. It is pretty pigmented. I just went in, I was overly careful and didn't pick up too much at first, but yeah, you don't need more than 2 taps, if that. See, I'm trying so hard not to bring the blush down, but I can't help it. And of course, it does look more intense on the camera. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna take the highlight from this contour palette. I'm gonna just do it dry and put that on the inner corner. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Okay. And just kind of take the remnants and put it under my brow. trying to decide if I want to go in with that matte brown from the palette underneath. I think I will. Just kind of, the under eyes feel kind of naked. I'm not doing the deeper shade, just the plain matte brown, just to give a little something. I don't know, whatever. I did a little something. Okay, so next, so this is their new Warrior Princess mascara, and this one I think might be exclusive to Walmart, and it's very reminiscent of like Better Than Sex, and then what has lately been my favorite, the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. But I find this very comparable to that one and really have been enjoying it. Now, I always go in with my L'Oreal Lash Paradise base, which is it's like a white primer. Do that no matter what. So, and then on my lower lash line, I use the Wet n Wild Mega Length, which is a very skinny one. So I'm going to go ahead and go in with these two off camera, and then I'll come back and show you me applying this one. Alright, so with this, I typically do like 2 to 3 coats. And that's how I kind of treat every mascara. But I always use that L'Oreal Lash Primer because I think it makes pretty much any mascara 10 times better. This is not a task I usually do while talking, so just give me a second. Alright, so that is with 2 coats I really like, and if I wanted even more volume, I'd go in with a 3rd. But I've been loving that mascara, so it's kind of equal to me to the Lash Paradise. So now I just need to do lips. I have 2 lip products in front of me. I have one of them cream lipsticks, but this is the Mix and Matte Lip Duo that has a matte lipstick on one end and then a gloss on the other. So I have Tickled Pink and then Violet Vixen, which with this look, I don't think it hurt to do that one, but I'm feeling a little more comfortable doing the nude, which is like a pinky nude. So let's see. I wouldn't call that a matte formula because it's very creamy. And the finish even has like the slightest bit of sheen. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to go in with the gloss on top anyway. It's called Tickled Pink, and I kind of expected it to be a little more pink than it is. So let's go over with this gloss. See, that doesn't even look, that's weird. I feel more like a whipped liquid lipstick than a gloss. But I do like focusing it on the center because it has a glittery sheen. But that's a weird formula. I have to play around with that more. I do like the lipstick side for sure because it's very comfortable. It's a nice color that I probably have a million of already. And then to finish everything off, I have the Seal the Deal Long Lasting Setting Spray. This is the matte finish, but I don't feel like it makes my skin matte. It just keeps everything in place. You do have to shake this one up because when I first got it, I didn't. And if I wore a dark shirt, I get like white spots on my shirt. And that's because I wasn't shaking it up. I will say the con is that it's such a fine mist that I feel like I have to spray more than usual. But it has a nice scent and I think it does what it's supposed to do. Alright, and that's my full face using Flower Beauty. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this a thumbs up. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And let me know if you've tried any of these products in the comments and what you thought of them. I am going to go rewatch Haunting of Hill House for the millionth time. And I hope you guys have a great day.